Good evening, everyone, and welcome. I'm truly glad to see you here tonight. It's great to see those who have already joined us. Let's take some introductions. Welcome to Christina Collins, Dawn, Gregory Darby, Heather O, Marana Adams, Mark, Michael Shapiro, Pauline Celestin, Sally Puckett, Tom Leonard, ML, William Diaz. I saw Frances Curry too. I guess she dropped off. Well, tonight's session is titled The Real Reason You're Not Manifesting as Much as You Want. And it's inspired by the teachings of Elmer Locker Jr. I was really excited to discover Elmer's channel because Elmer's grandfather was a student of Neville Goddard and taught things to Elmer when he was young. Now, let me say this up front. This is not another talk about wishing harder, praying longer, or repeating affirmations louder, because most of you have already visualized, you've affirmed, you've believed, at least intellectually, and yet somehow the results don't always match the effort. And that's frustrating. And here's the truth most people never hear. Manifestation doesn't break down because of lack of desire. It fails because of a misalignment most people don't even realize they're living in. Tonight, we're going to talk about why knowing the principles isn't the same as embodying them, why asking isn't the same as receiving, and why many people unknowingly cancel their own manifestations, sometimes daily, without realizing it. Now, Elmer Locker Jr. teaches something profound, that manifestation responds not to what you want, but to who you are being when you ask. So tonight, we're going to look at the internal patterns, emotional states, and subtle contradictions that quietly block the flow of what you desire. This is about mental clarity. Because once you see the real reason, the shift happens. And when the shift happens, results start to feel inevitable. Now, I apologize for the background noise of the ocean that he's sitting in front of, but even then, I think you'll be blessed for being here. So pay attention, and perhaps you will uncover what's been standing between you and the life you've been trying to manifest. Let's begin.
Literally, you will become a millionaire overnight. Listen, I recently got this question, or I was asked this question from a very close friend of mine, or it's a student of mine, somebody that I've been coaching for quite some time, and they became a close friend of mine. And they've been creating a business, and the business is doing pretty well. He's doing like $25,000, $30,000 a month, right? And he started from making maybe, I think when I first started coaching him, he was making about $30,000 a year, and now he's making $30,000 a month. And he asked me this question. He says, "Why am I not making $300,000 a month right now?" And I said, "Listen, when I started to coach you, what did I tell you? I said, before we start this business, before anyone creates a business, you have to create the business mindset, the identity, your identity of a successful business person that has the right routines, that is non-negotiable, that knows they're on a mission, that is completely unselfish. The person that knows that's not about me, it's about them, right? So before you start a business, you have to create this identity." And I told him this, and he did this, but he didn't spend as much time on it as I suggested. He kind of skipped, he did it maybe halfway, maybe 30, 40% he did this. And now he's making $30,000 a month. But I told him, this is the reason you're not making $300,000 a month right now. Is because you didn't complete the process of identifying yourself as the individual, because you have to create that individual, that identity of a business person that is making that much money before you begin. Literally, you will become a millionaire overnight. But listen, I recently got this question, or I was asked this question from a very close friend of mine, or it's a student of mine, somebody that I've been coaching for quite some time. And they became a close friend of mine. And they've been creating a business, and the business is doing pretty well. He's doing like $25,000, $30,000 a month, right? And he started from making maybe, I think when I first started coaching him, he was making about $30,000 a year, and now he's making $30,000 a month. And he asked me this question. He says, "Why am I not making $300,000 a month right now?" And I said, "Listen, when I started to coach you, what did I tell you? I said, before we start this business, before anyone creates a business, you have to create the business mindset, the identity, your identity of a successful business person that has the right routines, that is non-negotiable, that knows they're on a mission, that is completely unselfish. The person that knows it's not about me, it's about them, right? So before you start a business, you have to create this identity." And I told him this, and he did this, but he didn't spend as much time on it as I suggested. He kind of skipped, he did it maybe halfway, maybe 30, 40% he did this. And he created, now he's making $30,000 a month. But I told him, this is the reason you're not making $300,000 a month right now. Is because you didn't complete the process of identifying yourself as the individual, because you have to create that individual, that identity of a business person that is making that much money before you begin. You don't want to skip that part, because then you're spinning your wheels, okay? Then you're doing all this hard work. This is what most people talk about. It's not about hard work, right? Some of it may be, but listen, when you're creating a business, if you don't create the version of yourself first that can create, that identifies as this person with good daily habits, they know what to do, they have identified certain things within their self-concept, their state of consciousness, and understands and changes all these things and recognizes things that they were doing within their reality that they shouldn't be doing, because sometimes that's what it's about, right? It's not about what you're doing, it's about what you shouldn't be doing. So you eliminate all those things from your life in that self-concept of being a successful business person, okay? And he asked this question. I said, that's why, because you didn't finish. I know you didn't finish. You didn't do everything that I told you to do. I know you did some of it, but I'm just telling you, that's the reason why you're not making $300,000. So what we need to do now is we need to identify those things within your business or your self-concept of this business identity that you've created. And we need to stop or continue what you're doing, and we'll pull back, stop, and create and identify these things within your reality, and then we'll change them all. So I said, okay, so all right, so give me 7 days. All right, from Monday to Sunday, I want you to write down everything that you do, or give me voice notes. Everything. The moment you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you do? The second thing you do, the third thing, fourth thing, the 100th thing. Tell me everything. From Monday to Sunday. All right, so he did this. And then I pointed everything out. Like I literally dissected everything within it. I noticed all these different, and I said, you have to be completely honest with me. And he was. And I noticed all these different things within his reality. And the funny thing was, I didn't have to say anything to him. After he gave me the list and I called him on the phone, he already realized what they were. It's because he wrote them all down. And he was studying himself as he wrote those things down. He says, all right, so now I understand. He was wasting all this time doing things he shouldn't be doing within his reality. There's all these things that I was noticing. There's at least 10 things that he was doing every day that was crushing his sales, his marketing, his ability to create the identity that is associated with someone that makes $300,000 a month. And literally, he wouldn't have to work any harder. This is what we identified. He's making $30,000 a month now. But we identified these things, and he doesn't have to change a thing, only eliminate certain things from his daily routine every day. All right? That's all he has to do, is eliminate certain things, and now his business will grow. It will 10x now, because he's eliminating all of these things from his daily life. And this is why I say this. It's because it's not about so much what you're doing. It's about what you're not doing. Because when you start acting as if you are this successful business person, you have to focus on that. Not so much of what you need to do, but what you shouldn't be doing. Then you have to eliminate those things, and then it clears your mind to open up to that reality within the infinite realities that coexist simultaneously right now, to enter that simulation where you're now 10xing your income. You've just freed up that time. And then you're going to it's going to come to you because you've now changed your concept of yourself. See, this is what I'm saying. This is what I tell everyone. They say, I want to create this multi-million-dollar business. I said, well, okay, put that over here for a second. We have to prepare you first. We have to identify within your self-concept where you're lacking. Like what we have to identify everything within your reality, your concept of yourself within this reality, and change those things. Fix you first, because we have to prepare you in order for this to manifest. You can't put the cart before the horse. You can't create a multi-billion-dollar or million-dollar business if you're not a multi-million-dollar concept of self or billion-dollar concept of self. You have to create that first, and that's what Neville Goddard was talking about. You have to identify mental clarity within your mind. And then step 2, you have to be able to, what? Create mental imagery very clearly. You have to identify your inner dialogue, then the mental images that come in your mind, and then your feeling states, right? And then you have to become non-negotiable and create congruent action and identify yourself with this individual. And the biggest part about this I found is eliminating things that you shouldn't be doing. And when you do that, it opens up this doorway within your mind, because those are the things that were harming you. Netflix, honey buns, pizza, wasting time, doing things that aren't productive or congruent with the million-dollar version of yourself, whatever that may be. Wasting time, talking on the phone about nothing, hanging out, partying, going to the club. All these, you'll be surprised how much time you waste on these things. And it's not even that. It is wasted time, but when you eliminate all these things from your life, you'll find that your brain is like, okay, we're somebody else now. And your brain follows concept of self. And now you're training your brain. And once you eliminate all the comfort and the easy things from your life, now the work becomes the best part of your day. Because now you've eliminated the easy stuff. And a lot of people don't realize that. When they start working on their business, they hate every second of it. They're like, oh my gosh, I gotta focus, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. It's because they have too much comfort in their life. They have too much relaxation. They have too many easy things that feel good. So they look forward to those things. But if you remove those things from your life and you don't have easy things, what becomes your main objective that you enjoy? Your business. Then you enjoy your business, you enjoy your purpose, you enjoy the fulfillment of that business. And that's one of the first things you have to isolate and control and get rid of your life, is the things that you shouldn't be doing. Wasting time, the easy things, the comfortable things. You have to eliminate them. I'm telling you this, and it even explains this in Genesis in the Bible, the forbidden fruit, okay? In Genesis, the serpent, okay? That's what God was trying to keep us from, but he allowed us to make an assumption, to choose that if we liked. The serpent, the forbidden fruit, the easy, the comfort. That's what destroys your fulfillment, your goals, your life, who you are. You lose present moment awareness. You lose your power to create in that reality because you start falling asleep. You ever notice that? If you watch social media or you just watch Netflix for one day, how do you feel at the end of that? You don't even feel like you're like, oh my gosh, I can't even focus or anything, because they're doing all the focus for you. The people that created those movies, created those shows, created that social media, whatever you were watching, they focused on those things to create them, and you're watching them, you're consuming those things. They're the creators. So what happens? They're robbing your awakenness, right? I don't know if that's a word. They're robbing your awareness and putting you to sleep. Okay? And as you create businesses, you'll realize that that is your mission, that that's what makes you feel good. Because now you've eliminated all this other stuff, and now you're awakened to your purpose, because you realize it's not about you, it's about them. And then once you start doing that, you realize how good you feel inside. Then the Netflix and the social media and wasting all this time eating all this junk food, you realize that stuff never really made you happy. It was all just an illusion of happiness, right? From the serpent, right? The forbidden fruit. How many times have you eaten a pizza or a cheesecake or went to McDonald's and had a double quarter pounder or whatever your favorite food is that tastes so good, but it's horrible for you? How many times did you finish eating that and felt good afterwards? Listen, leave a comment below right now. How many times? 0. I'm going to tell you 0. How did you feel? Horrible. And what does that do to your self-concept? How do you feel about yourself afterwards? What are you falling asleep with that, huh? You're falling asleep with a self-concept that doesn't have control, that doesn't have self-control, that isn't confident. And you lose your confidence, and then you impress that into the subconscious that you are this identity, and then you wake up and do it again. Okay? This is how it works, because the subconscious mind controls voluntary action. And as you impress different things that you've done for the last 10 years into the subconscious, it controls everything, or 90% of everything that you do every day. But you have about 10% control with your conscious mind. And that's what you need to control right now. You have to say no and become non-negotiable and make these changes within your reality as you become awakened and as you become more present and develop your attention, mental clarity. And then you can start developing mental imagery in your mind to create a new identity. Okay? This is the goal here. Once you start impressing a new version of yourself into the subconscious, and you reprogram the subconscious, you visualize as you go to sleep, then the subconscious then controls 90% of your actions tomorrow. So once you identify with the concept of yourself that is ultra successful, that runs a $300,000 business a month, and you're acting as if you're this person, and you feel this, you've eliminated all the comfort and relaxation from your life, all this crap that really doesn't make you happy, and you've developed these habits, and you're doing all this stuff every day, the subconscious mind's feeling, and you're visualizing yourself, seeing yourself being congratulated by your friends, your family, on your success, the subconscious mind then develops new patterns and habits for you tomorrow. And over time, it can happen quickly. Depends on how deeply seated you've impressed the subconscious mind with these limitations. Over time, you'll impress the subconscious mind with this new identity. And then it's automatic, okay? You've trained your brain and the subconscious to be ultra successful all the time. And that is the secret, that is the magic of the simulation. Because you have, remember, consciousness is dual nature. There's a conscious part and a subconscious part. Right now you're conscious, hopefully you're conscious, okay? Some people are sleeping right now. I think the individuals that are still watching this video are very conscious, okay? So this is your conscious mind, where you can make decisions to impress, because you don't control what happens in the simulation with your conscious mind. You're just accepting what I'm saying, and then you're making changes to yourself right now and getting ideas to do things differently that you can control these ideas and these assumptions, thinking differently, right? And then you're going to fall asleep and you have dominion over the subconscious with your conscious mind, okay? So what you take from this video, you're going to create a new identity and do everything that I say, and then fall asleep with a new identity over and over and over again, reprogram the subconscious, and then the subconscious moves you to that reality where you are ultra successful, where you do have a $300,000 business, okay? So consciousness is dual natured. It is non-dual, but it is dual nature, which is a conscious part and a subconscious part. You have control of the conscious part. So right now you need to identify certain things within your reality and start literally making conscious and intentional changes. Okay? This is the magic, okay? This is what I did while I was in prison. I had a lot of time to do this, okay? I completely identified these things in my conscious realm and identified myself as somebody else, and over time I impressed the subconscious mind to create a new reality for me where I did things entirely different, and I became a multimillionaire, oh my God, it was like overnight, okay? And found fulfillment and I helped thousands and thousands of people. Thousands. And it's probably gonna be hundreds of thousands. Because I am that identity now. The subconscious mind already sees me as that. It's already put me in that reality. There's nothing I can do now unless I change it, unless I completely change my life and reprogram it to be somebody less successful. And that's not gonna happen. Because I know the difference now. But why I say that is because everybody watching this video has this opportunity right now. You're awakened, okay? And the more you consume things that are easy, that are relaxing, that are simple, laying around and not doing anything, you are falling more asleep. You're becoming less conscious to make this change. You're becoming less conscious to reprogram the subconscious to send you into a new reality within the simulation. So start creating and stop consuming. Because that's when you awaken from your sleep. That's when you can be like, oh my gosh, I have control. I want this, I want that. You can get it. Because you realize everything that I'm saying to you. Your conscious part is controlling what you accept as true right now. And once you identify that and make that change right now and assume something different, you have that ability. You don't have free will to change anything. Only the subconscious mind does. Okay? But what you do have the ability to do right now is assume that what I'm saying is true. Assume that you are someone different, and then fall asleep with that, and then the subconscious mind then controls your free will for tomorrow, and next week, and next year. Like your life is already set right now if you don't change your conscious mind. It's already set. Who you're gonna meet next week. Like my grandfather said, you're gonna meet Osh Magash next week. That's already set, it's gonna happen. Unless you change it. And you take your conscious mind right now, as I'm saying these things to you, and you assume yourself to be somebody different. Assume yourself to be successful. See yourself in your imagination. Create mental imagery within your imagination that other people are seeing you as this individual, and they're congratulating you on it. And you act as if you take intentional control right now and start acting as if you are this individual, and start, like what I said earlier, write the stuff down. What are you doing every day from Monday to Sunday? And eliminate all the comfort, the easy stuff, the stuff that you're wasting your time. Listen, I'm not saying that you can't have fun or enjoy your life. I'm not saying that. That's a lie. You've been fed these lies. Those things don't make you happy. Creating life, helping other people, that's what is going to make you happy. You've been fed lies for so long. The comfort, the relaxation, the drugs, the alcohol, that stuff doesn't make you happy. It's a lie. It's all a lie. So don't think that I don't want you to be happy. I'm trying to help you be happy. Eliminate those things from your life. Live a fulfilled life. Be congruent and act as if, be non-negotiable, and start creating. And you will find that this is God's purpose for you. This is your mission. And when you find your purpose and your mission, you're going to feel like $100 million or whatever. You're going to feel so confident, so perfect, so aligned with your vision. You're going to love every second of your life more than having all the instant gratification that you ever could imagine having. That stuff doesn't make you happy, and you know it doesn't make you happy. When's the last time you sat around watching Netflix, eating fast food or junk food, and you felt good at the end of the day? Never. Ever. It's a lie. It's an illusion. Stop it. That is the lie. That is the illusion. That's the deception, okay? That's what makes you fall asleep within a simulation. That's what you have to get rid of. And that's my job and my mission to tell you today. Because truth is about love, okay? I'm not going to lie to you about this. Because if I were to lie to you, that means I don't care about you. I tell you the truth because I love you. Because you are me. And I want to help you. Because I wish someone would have told me this or trained me. Or I wish I would have had someone in my life when I was 8 years old or 10 years old or 20 years old to tell me this stuff. But I didn't. So when I make these videos, I'm talking to myself at a younger age that I wish I would have had. But really, I created you just as much as you created me. And as you start eliminating these things from your life, this instant gratification, the easy stuff, all the comfortable stuff, you'll find that your work is so fulfilling and you look forward to it. You wake up every morning and you want to do it. And I hear this all the time. People wake up in the morning and they're sad, they're depressed. They don't see anything within their life that they can look forward to. And I'm going to tell you right now, 100% truth, I felt this same thing before for many, many years. And the reason for this is because of the comfort, because of the relaxation, because of these easy things, the instant gratification. That's what creates that stuff. That's what creates that feeling when you wake up in the morning. Once you eliminate those things from your life, you're going to wake up in the morning and you're going to look forward to your reality because it's not about you, it's about them. You're looking forward to helping people. You're looking forward to your mission. You're looking forward to your purpose every day. And you're going to wake up and feel tremendous because you've eliminated all this easy comfort from your life. And now what becomes your happiness then? Once you eliminate all that easy stuff, the stuff that doesn't require any concentration and makes you fall asleep, what happens? What do you have left to look forward to? Your workouts in the gym. Your work that you do, your mission, your purpose, helping people. And over time, and sometimes it's going to happen really quickly, that's going to be the thing you look forward to as soon as you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh my gosh, oh, I love my life. I get to help this many. It's not about me, it's about them. And I get to help all these people today. That's going to be the new you. Once you eliminate this, I'm telling you, from experience, that but when you do this, it's going to change your entire reality. You're going to 10x everything within your life. You're going to awaken within this simulation. You're going to be able to have mental clarity and focus and create mental images in your mind. You're going to be led to all the right things. Maybe you're already doing, that's why you're here. Maybe. Or maybe you're on the fence and you're like, maybe I want to believe what he's saying, but maybe not. Maybe I'm so addicted. Remember, you've programmed the subconscious mind, which controls voluntary action and your identity right now, to go back to those things over and over and over and over and over. So you have to consciously take control with that, whatever it is, 5 or 10% of your conscious mind right now, and awaken and make a new assumption of yourself. This is what Neville Goddard was talking about. You have to assume something else about your world and what you consent to be true of yourself, and identify as somebody new, and then reprogram the subconscious mind of what the subconscious mind sees you, how the subconscious mind feels you and sees you as you fall asleep at night and throughout the day. And then once your conscious mind is awakened enough to where you can make a proper impression into the subconscious of this new identity, it's going to reprogram you, because you are part of the simulation. Your body, everything is part of the simulation. Whatever is tangible within the reality in which you live is part of the simulation. So it's going to reprogram you to identify as this individual that you have become and what you assume to be true of your world. And then you don't have to do anything. Okay? It's going to be who you are now. You've now reprogrammed the subconscious mind, which controls what? Voluntary action within the simulation. Is now identified you as somebody completely different because you did that. And then now you're going to do things automatically through every day that's congruent with that identity that you assumed yourself to be. That's the secret. Listen, nobody else is going to tell you this stuff. There's not another person or guru that's going to tell you what I just told you. Listen, I have been through so much pain and suffering and trauma. I was in prison for 8.5 years, okay? I created a mental prison. I was in solitary confinement for half a year, 175 days. I didn't even know, I wasn't even counting the days, but after I saw my paperwork, it was 175 days, okay? I went through more trauma and violence and different things that happened to me while I was in prison, okay, than most people would ever even understand, okay? And through the process of this, I identified that pain, discomfort, and trauma was my friend. It awakened me. Within all of a sudden, I have all these abilities, and I've reprogrammed, and I became institutionalized. I became this identity where I woke up at a certain time. I did my workouts. I read my books. I went to work. I did everything every day, and I identified as this person that was non-negotiable, that did everything they were supposed to do. And I had to watch everything around me because there was constant chaos and violence, and people were always watching everywhere, trying to find a weakness within you. So I had to become so mentally strong just to survive. And I identified as this individual, and I impressed the subconscious mind with this person that I became, totally different than I was. And then what did the subconscious mind do? That it controlled my voluntary action. And when I got out, listen, life is easy. This is easy. When I got out, the simulation, life to be successful is so easy. Prison is hard. Life in prison is hard. When I got out, I'm like, oh my God, all I have to do is this every day, and I can become a multimillionaire. This is like the easiest time to be rich, successful, and help people. And do everything that you ever dreamed of doing. Because everybody is asleep. Everybody is sound asleep from social media, comfort, easy stuff. They want all that stuff. They've programmed the subconscious mind to fall asleep. Okay? And as I went through all this trauma, pain, and suffering, I identified as this individual and impressed it into the subconscious. So now there's nothing that I can't create. And the magic of this is you can do this right now. You can literally identify yourself right now during this video and assume yourself to be somebody different. And you will reprogram the subconscious mind, which controls your actions and your world's actions and everybody in it, to match and be congruent with that identity that you created. And that's all you have to do. You're programming your mind to be successful. You won't have to visualize anything anymore. You won't have to affirm anything anymore. You don't have to script anything anymore. You're going to be able to create anything you want. Like literally identify it. Your world's going to know exactly who you are. It's going to give you everything. And that is the secret. That is the magic, okay? And I just turned the camera on today. I really wanted to talk about this. It's been on my mind, and I want to open up more for my audience, because none of this stuff is truly explained the way that I'm explaining it today. No one is explaining it this way. And this is the truth. And truth is love. And love is the most powerful, besides enlightenment, right? Frequency. And your frequency is what you frequently see, right? So, and that's what I'm consumed with is love, not only for me, because I've identified as an individual where I'm very confident because I'm non-negotiable, but not just that, and I keep my promises to myself, that I love helping other people, and it's part of my mission, it's part of my purpose. Because I realize that everyone is me. And that maybe that's selfish in itself, right? But consciousness is non-dual, but consciousness has a dual nature, which is a conscious part and a subconscious part. And right now, as you're watching this, and as you become more awakened, you'll be able to control that conscious part, which the conscious part is what impresses and controls the subconscious into the reality in which you create. So remember that. And the more that you consume, the less power you have over your conscious thought. And the more you remove all this stuff, the instant gratification and the easy stuff and all this stuff, the more power you have in the present moment to be conscious and assume something else to be true and consent to a different world and identify as somebody new, and then reprogram the subconscious mind, which controls everything. And then it becomes automatic. You will just identify with that individual and nothing can stop you. That's the magic secret. And if there's anything out there that you ever had to take in and absorb, that was it. And you will be you'll be so fulfilled, so happy, because it's not about you, it's about them. And you realize that. Once you identify with that individual that you want to be, you're going to realize it. I mean, you're going to awaken. Once you awaken to the simulation and realize that you were just sleeping, and when you awaken, you realize that it's just like this illusion of separateness within everything. If you could see everything, which I had before, I could see I'm not going to get into that today, but I could literally see all the lines and everything and the connections with everyone and everything in it. I could literally see all that. Everything was connected still. I'm connected with every one of you here. And I felt that. So, and I saw that, experienced that. That's how I know. Okay. And once I realized that, then I realized that if I'm focused on me only, I have no power to create. Because who is me? If I identify as this one person, when really I am the entire consciousness, then I'm just one single person. I can't help anyone. I can't do anything. I can't create anything. But once I start solving problems and helping everyone that I can, now I'm helping all these different versions of myself that are interconnected with me. Because that's who you truly are. I love you guys. All right. I wanted to share that today. Yeah, I went at 34 minutes. Wow. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. I really wanted to share that. I think the right people heard this today. And I'm so glad that I made this video. I think I changed a lot of people's lives today. Leave a comment below if you're still on the video, of course. Probably a lot of people clicked off when I started talking about instant gratification, right? And Netflix and honey buns. And I just really wanted to share that with you guys, and I'm gonna give you some. Look at this. See that private beach, huh? I love you guys, and anyone can be successful. Create a new level of consciousness within yourself. Change your identity and learn to reprogram the subconscious, which controls the infinite realities that coexist simultaneously right now within your reality. And everything that you desire is actually right in front of you right now. Like literally, it's right in front of you. These realities are not stacked on each other. They're not underneath each other or above each other. Like it's right in front of you right now. And the only reason you can't see your reality that you want to live in is because you haven't done this yet. You haven't increased your awareness, awakened, and then found yourself to be somebody different and impressed that into the subconscious. As soon as you do that, you make a proper impression, and the subconscious mind controls 90%, 95% of everything. Doesn't matter how, I know it's a high percentage. I know that's what controls voluntary action, which controls you and controls everyone within your reality and everything, even the waves on the beach. It controls everything. And once you change your identity and control that, then you're gonna, like literally, that's what it is. Everything's gonna change for you. You're gonna live the life of your dreams. You're gonna be happier than you ever could have been. And you're gonna come back and you're gonna thank me, and you're gonna start telling everybody else about this, because you're gonna try to help people too. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. I love you guys.
Okay, as we come to the close of tonight's session, I want you to remember this. Your prayers have not been ignored. That the fact that you're here is a witness that your prayers are being answered, and you are being led to drink of the wisdom that has always been available, but has been largely not understood. The real shift isn't about doing more. It's about becoming more aligned. Alignment means being deliberately focused on what you desire. It means identifying and eliminating the daily activities that waste time and quietly pull you away from what you want instead of moving you toward it. Ask yourself this: what would change if you stopped negotiating with time wasters like social media and Netflix? What would happen if you consistently chose actions that were congruent with growing your business, with becoming the person who is already successful? Because here's the hard truth. You cannot build a meaningful business only when you feel like it. You cannot expect momentum during those rare windows when nothing else is competing for your attention. Alignment is a decision. And when your thoughts, your emotions, your expectations, and your identity finally come into agreement, manifestation stops feeling forced and starts feeling natural. Effort gives way to flow, hope gives way to knowing, and that's when results stop being occasional and start becoming inevitable. Elmer Locker Jr.'s message reminds us that manifestation responds to who you are being, not just to what you are asking for. When you stop contradicting your prayers with fear, doubt, or impatience, you don't have to chase your desires anymore. They begin moving toward you. So as you leave tonight, don't try to make something happen. Instead, carry the awareness. Notice where you're aligned and where you're not, and do so without judgment, because awareness is the doorway to change, and alignment is the doorway to manifestation. With the small group that's here tonight, BDM is becoming a powerful movement, one that will change millions of lives for the better. Not because of numbers, not because of hype, but because we are committed to continuing until each of us has become a better version of ourselves. This isn't about quitting when it's uncomfortable. This isn't about stopping when results are delayed. It's about growth before scale, alignment before expansion, and character before success. When a small group commits to becoming better, the impact multiplies naturally, and that's how movements are born. Let's close with prayer. Heavenly Father, We acknowledge your presence tonight with gratitude, gratitude for insight, for clarity, and for the gentle correction that leads us closer to truth. Thank you for reminding us that you are not distant, silent, or withholding. You are present. You dwell within each of us. You are responsive and faithful. We ask now that you help us align, not just in our words, but in our hearts. Align our thoughts with truth. Align our emotions with peace. Align our expectations with faith. Remove the hidden contradictions within us, the fear that speaks louder than belief, the impatience that cancels trust, the doubt we've carried without realizing it. Teach us to live as people who already know you are at work. We declare that what we have asked for is already in motion. We release control. We release worry. We release the need to see immediate proof. Instead, we choose trust. We choose alignment. We choose to walk as people who believe. You finish what you start. May the seeds planted tonight take root, grow quietly, and produce results beyond what we could ask or imagine. We receive with gratitude, we walk forward with confidence, and we rest in faith. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We'll be back again on Tuesday. Be sure to invite a friend. Let's grow this into the mighty movement that we've all seen and vision. With that, we'll say good night. God bless. We'll see you on our next BDM webinar.